So, okay. All right, Lenny, so we're out here at number 2 at Seven Bridges doing a on-course lesson or playthrough and walk through a couple things here. So we went through and had a lesson on the range and worked on a couple things here and there, chipping and full swing. So we'll go through here now that we're on the course and see if we can transfer it over and see what happens. And so we're on the second tee here. We're going to hit 3-wood. Let's talk a little bit about the strategy of the hole. So there's 2 fairways, a left and a right, and a bunker in the middle. So if you had to pick one side or the other, what do you think is the smart play? Even though right takes you closer.
I think the smart play is to the left.
Okay. And then there's out of bounds right. So right, if you miss it to the left, you're not, threatened with the out of bounds. And although you might not have as good of a chance of making birdie, there's a less of a chance of making an 8 or something like that, right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So go ahead and hit it, and then let's see what we got. All right, good swing. A little bit of a miss, but that's, the miss anyway. We went to the other fairway, and that's what can happen sometimes. So good thing you didn't aim at that one, because that ball would have been out of bounds.
It would have been.
Exactly. All right, so then you have second shot here, 135 on the GPS. We were just talking about this. You do not want to go long right, so there's a bunker long right and a bunker just pin high left. But short is wide open, and the green is a lot wider, right? So hopefully you're not in between clubs, but if you ever were, you should definitely take the lesser of the 2, for sure, because the miss by far is short.
Right.
So hopefully you're not in between clubs. So what do you have?
I have a 9-iron.
Okay. Does that play pretty much close
Yeah,
to?
I think that should be just about right.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, you might not be perfectly hole high, but like you were talking about, golf is a game of misses. You're not going to be 3 feet for birdie every time, so take your pars if you have to. That's definitely not a bad thing at all.
I take 18 of them in a row.
Exactly. All right, so let's see what we got here, and then we'll keep going. Good swing. Hook in there. Hook. Perfect. All right, so actually awesome shot here. We have like 12 feet left. And so now you're talking about focus. So walk me through here. If you're really focusing on this putt and you really had to make it for a club championship or tournament or whatever, what would you do to, put your best shot forward, I guess? Give yourself the best chance of making this.
Well, I think to be a good putter, what you have to do is you have to pick a line.
Mm-hmm.
You have to commit to that line.
Sure.
And then you line up your ball to that line. You stand over it, and at that point, you just worry about speed and
Sure.
and your whole goal is to get the ball to the hole.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. I would say that is 100% true. Speed is more important than line 99% of the time. But I guess you're doing it a little bit before we started the video, but how would you go about getting that line and making sure that you have that line? Do you just read it from behind, or you do the 360, or what do you do mentally to prepare yourself?
Well, to be honest with you, again, I tend to be a fast player, which is a detriment sometimes.
Sure, yeah.
And like we discussed earlier, you had talked about it, how in order to be a good golfer, it takes time.
Yep.
And it's the time spent on every shot that is what is probably the most important thing.
That's right.
Because we all know we beat thousands of golf balls. But to play each shot as each individual shot is the most important part of the game.
Yep.
One shot at a time is probably one of the most famous sayings.
Absolutely.
So this is the most important shot of my life right now. So what I do is, if I were to do it, I would stand back behind the ball and get a feel for how I feel the ground is going and how the ball is going to break.
Okay.
And then actually what I'll do is, and I caught this on the PGA the other day.
Yeah.
You walk the hole and you can kind of feel with your feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
The grain.
I think I was watching that same clip.
And then you walk back on the other side.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you stop and look at it from this way. So
Yep.
now, at that point, you're committed to a line.
Yep.
You know what you think the ball is going to do. At that point, you come back, line up your ball.
Okay.
And then the key is just to put a good swing on the ball.
Okay. Awesome. So have you you got your line all picked out here and everything, or are we
I think
still
I
walking
do.
around? Okay.
I believe that this ball is probably going to come down 3 balls.
Okay. All right, let's see it. Let's see what the focus has paid off for this one hole that we're doing here.
It's downhill a little bit, so it should have no problem getting the ball to the hole. But for the club championship, as Ben says,
Break.
I lost on a lip out.
That's a heck of a par, though. That's the best way to go about making a par, is be upset about making par.
I lost the club championship on a lip out.